And we're being recorded right now. So we are in room 605. This is my period 2 class. Say hi. This is being recorded for my third period class, who is going to be sitting in the grade level assembly during their class. So we're looking at the try it on page 2 in the student companion. We're looking at y equals the absolute value of x minus 4, and we are on our graphing calculator trying to put this function in. All right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the absolute value bars, and they can be found under the math menu on the left. If we go right one click to the number menu, this is a good way to get there. It's the first one, ABS. It's not like a six-pack of abs. It's not anti-lock braking system. That's on cars. It's absolute value. Yes, that is the symbol for absolute value. When you hit 1, there are your bars. Go ahead and put in x minus 4. We typically use this button right here to select x. So go ahead and hit x minus 4, and a refresher course, make sure you're hitting the subtraction sign, not the negative sign down here. Okay, that'd be bad because that's negative, not subtraction. So let's get rid of that. Delete, 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 delete. And we can all graph the same thing by hitting zoom 6. That gives us a standard window. So we'll press zoom 6. And you should see the absolute value v for y equals x minus 4. Absolute value. All right. Now, if you hit trace, it's up here in the top row. Hit trace. At the top of the screen, you'll see the function that you put in. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see the current x, y coordinates that you are on. Okay, so currently we're at the point 0, 4. Typically on the TI graphing calculator, when you hit trace, it pops up at the y-intercept. Nice. 0, 4. You can trace from right to left using these arrows. Try it. Go ahead and go right. And stop when you think you're at the point of the V. Anybody know what the bottom point might be called? There's a couple words we could use. One is the vertex. More specifically, it's a vertex that is a minimum. Yes. So a vertex can be a max or a min. This one is a minimum. Now, if I wanted to pinpoint that, did you know that while you're tracing, you can actually just hit a number to trace to? I think that minimum occurs when x gets to what? The student said 4. So when we hit 4 and then enter, it'll jump there. Yes, when tracing, you can type in a number. What happens when I get to 6? What's y? 2. So when tracing, you don't always just have to hit the right and left arrow. You can also type in numbers to jump to. I can't jump to 11, though. Why? It's off the screen. Okay, it has to be in the current screen for the x to work. It's okay if the y is off the screen. It's not okay if the x is off the screen. So could I trace to -8? Do you think I could trace to where x is -8 and it'll tell me what y is? Yell it yes or no. The yeses have it. Yes, you can actually trace to -8, enter. Why? Because -8 for x is on the screen. The y is off the screen. How far up is it? 12. That's okay. Y is allowed to be off the screen. X isn't. What if we trace to 12 for x? It gives you an error because you're not in the current window for x. Got it? So let's hit go to. We're back on the screen, and what do you think about the domain of this function? The possible x values that we're allowed to put in. Will this v continue going this way to the right forever? Yes. Will it continue to go left forever. Yes. So what x's does it hit? All of them. Here's my favorite way to say a domain. The domain goes from negative infinity to positive infinity. That's one of the two notations that were in the video yesterday, last night, whenever you watched it. Which notation is that? Set builder notation or interval notation? Which one? The other one. Yeah, that's interval notation, okay? Where you're just telling me the interval that the x's touch. Okay? Goes from negative infinity to positive infinity. Anytime you're using infinities, use parentheses around them. This is not the ordered pair, negative infinity, comma, infinity. You can't go on a grid and put a point at negative infinity, comma, positive infinity. That's not an ordered pair. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the point, 4, comma, 6. All right, that's just the point out there in space at 4, comma, 6. Interval notation tells me the domain and the range. Where does it go from? All right? Set builder notation takes too long. I'm going to abandon set builder notation after this topic. All right? I like this one better. Let's talk about the range, which I usually do RNG. Okay, the range. Now this, I don't want to confuse you, but the little parentheses, those are for endpoints that you don't actually land on. All right? Do you remember stuff like this? X is greater than 5 versus X is greater than or equal to 5. Remember that from like Algebra 1 or from middle school math? So with something like this, you would use a parentheses. X is greater than 5, and it goes to infinity. Okay? With this, you would use a bracket 5 infinity. So the rounded parentheses is greater than or less than. It doesn't actually land there. The bracket is when you have the little equal to. If it actually hits that number. That's the difference between those two things. So for the range, let's get back to this screen. I'm going to go green now, okay? What's the lowest y value that this v touches? Remember, the y's are up here, right? The y's are up here. What kind of y's are above the x-axis? Positive ones, okay? And what's the lowest y value that this actually touches? 0. So the range would be bracket or parentheses? Bracket, because it actually hits 0 and goes up, 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 and away. And if it never stops, what symbol do we use? Infinity. That's the range.